Alright guys, so today we're here to talk about the Mavic Mini. I've been putting this thing through its paces, took it out on my first flight over the weekend and things like that. This is my first drone, I've never had a drone before. And I decided to get this one because obviously this is a $400 drone, it just came out a few months ago. And it's being touted as like a really good beginner drone, really easy to fly, still has some really cool unique features of it that are comparable to some of the higher end drones. And I wanted to put this thing through its paces. I've been looking forward to getting a drone for like a couple of years now, and never decided to plunk the cash down because they've always been really expensive. They usually start over $1,000 and stuff like that. And this one came out, and it's a $400 drone. It's apparently really easy to fly, really good quality video. So we're gonna go ahead and find out if all this is true. Let's get into my review.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so we're about to do our first flight. So this is my first time I'm going to be taking the drone out and actually flying it pretty far distance. We're going to try to go about a mile. I'm not going to go any further because this is my first time flying this. And I'm already nervous as it is to go a mile, so I'm not going to go over that. But you guys will get to see a pretty scenic view going a mile out, testing the capabilities of the drone. So let's start off with showing you how to actually turn this thing on. So you can turn the controller on here by just hitting the power button. You press it once and then hold it again, and you'll see the flashing lights of it looking for the drone. You can see right now it's not connected. You take the drone here. There's a power button on the back. You press it once fast and then you hold it. You'll see the motors do that little kick. And you can put it down. You hear that little beeping sound. That basically means that the drone is now turned on. We wait for the connection here on the app. The app has found the drone. Now we got a live camera feed. So the drone is basically now ready for takeoff. It has found GPS. You can see the GPS signal here. We have full bars here, connectivity. So what we want to do now, you can see it says takeoff permitted. If you tap that button, this is really important. Make sure before you actually take off to actually look at the RTH altitude, which is basically the return to home function. So once you're done flying, you can just hit the return to home button and it will return. And that is the automatic height it's going to reach if it's not at that height. So if we're 50 feet down and you have your return to home altitude set to 111 feet, make sure that that's the highest object around your area, so we'll go to that height and then return to home safely. So we have ours set to 150 feet, as you can see there. So we should be good with that. We have the maximum altitude set to 255 in height, and then the maximum distance we're going to travel today is 1574. You could set these to unlimited, so this isn't stopping you from anything. Obviously, be mindful of your battery. You do get warnings and stuff if you start flying out and it knows it's at 50% and it knows that like you need 50% battery to get back. It will actually just alert you right on the app and say like, hey, you should probably return to home now so you actually have enough battery to get home. So as long as you don't ignore warnings, it should be pretty easy to fly this thing around. So let's go ahead and turn this on. So two ways that you can do this, but we're going to show you the manual way. You can take the sticks, you can point them down like this. You'll see that it kicks on. And now you can just press the up button to lift off. And you can see our drone is in the air at this point. We want to turn our drone around since we're going to be going the other way. We're going to be going, we're at 9.5 feet. The app tells you exactly how high you are. So we're going to go up to 150 feet up in the air. So say goodbye to the drone for a while.
Bye-bye, drone.
We're going 150 feet in the air. As you can see, we're going to get a really high view. We're at 63 feet in the air right now and climbing. We're now at 120, 130, and that is our 150.
I don't know where it is. Can't see it. Oh, there it is.
So you can see the view that we have of everything here. And we're just going to travel straight across. All right, guys, so here's an overview of the flight that we're doing that we just took off from the park. As you can see, the video quality on this is really, really good. So we have this set to the max resolution on this thing. So that is 2.7 resolution at 30 frames a second. That is a max resolution that this drone will do. We'll also do 1080p at 60 frames a second or 30 if you want. But we have it set to the 2.7 resolution for you, so you guys can see the max quality of what this thing can do. So you can see us, you know, spinning around here and taking a look at the scenery here. Just how good the actual capture footage is doing. And it wasn't that windy when we were out here. It was really sunny. That's why you can see some changes in color and stuff like that as we're maneuvering around. But As far as the wind goes, the winds were only blowing at like about 8 miles an hour, and you wouldn't, obviously you can tell that the camera's not shaking or anything. It's not very windy out. It was about 8 miles an hour. But I'm really impressed with the quality of this drone and the quality of the image, and how steady everything is looking here. You can see the nice view of the water here. I was pretty nervous when I was going through this, for my first time. When I was looking at the water and stuff, going through and hoping that I didn't lose the drone in the water for the first flight, because that would have not been good. So that's definitely something I was nervous about. But even more funny is that I actually stopped the drone here in a few seconds just to take a look at the view. I didn't realize that the water was right underneath me. You'll see here that the water is right there, and I basically stopped right above that to take a view of that baseball field and stuff. And didn't even realize that we were above water that whole time, or I would have definitely moved forward a little bit. But yeah, here we are. This is almost at max feet. I think this is about 1,200 feet right now, 1,300 feet. We do go up a little bit more closer to the baseball field just to get a closer look. But the range did pretty well. It didn't have any stuttering during the camera or anything. When I got to the 1,572 feet, I did get a notification about interference. I didn't lose signal on the controller or video feed or anything, but I did get a notification that there was interference from somewhere. So interference can be caused by a million different things around your area. That's why it's hard to say how much you're going to get as far as range out of this per user, because it just depends how much Wi-Fi interference you're going to get, how much Wi-Fi there is in your area. If you're in an open field and stuff, you're obviously going to get more distance than you would if you're sitting, house to house to house and trying to go through a city or something like that. So obviously it's very different just depending on how much interference is around you. But I was able to get 1,572 feet before I got that notification about interference. So yeah, that is a quick look at the video feed here on how everything looks and the quality of the video. And us taking our first drone out. This is a max resolution at 2.7, 30 frames a second, 1,572 feet away, at a height of 150 feet. And this is what we got out of the drone. I'm really impressed with it. As you guys can see, guys, we've reached the 1,572 feet mark that we put on the app. It told us that we have reached the maximum distance. So we're going to go ahead and hit the return to home button.
Go home.
You can see it's now turning around, spinning back around to where it started. And don't forget, when you hit the return to home button, if you just tap it once, it actually is not going to do anything, because what that does is it actually makes it hover in place if you're doing any sort of maneuvers, or if you're afraid you're about to hit something. It's like an emergency stop button. You actually have to hold it and wait for that beeping noise, and then you'll see that it's returning to home. And you can see here, it's coming back towards us. We'll see when we actually see it in the air here. The sun has come down a little bit, so I can actually see now, because I was getting that glare before. It was ridiculous. I don't see it yet.
Oh, I see it.
Where is it? There it is. It had to be basically on top of me before I finally saw that thing. So you can see it right above us. You can see it's going to return to its home point. It set itself at the altitude of 150 feet like it was supposed to. And you can see it's coming down towards us now.
Where is it? I don't know where it is, people. Oh, there it is.
You didn't see that the whole time?
I can't see it. It's so
Even I saw
tiny.
that.
I saw it before, but I couldn't find it in the camera.
You can see it's gently coming down, returning for its landing. And the cool thing you could do with the landing is you can actually put your hand right underneath it. And you can see it's looking at my hand right now to see if I actually want to land it. You can hold the analog stick down. It will continue to come down.
Oh, nice.
And you'll catch it right in your hand. And that's as easy as it is to fly this thing. All right, guys. And the other thing I wanted to show you guys is these quick shots. These are basically shots that the drone does for you in a really simple manner. So this one here, actually just, you point it at a subject, it finds the people in the camera that you're trying to point at, and it will just hover and it will just go in a circle around you and take this really cool shot as one of your shots. The next quick shot it can do is actually one that, like, you point it at a subject, again, you touch the people, and this one goes back a certain amount of feet depending on what you want to do, 80 feet up to like 120. and then you can go ahead and then it will just zoom out. So that one's cool. And this last quick shot it can do also is a rocket shot. So basically it starts at the bottom and goes straight up above your head and goes all the way as many feet in the air as you want it to. Again, these are all set in the app that you can do, and these are all the quick shots that you can do with the drone. It's some really cool stuff that it can do. All right, guys, so here with the Drone Mini, and the next feature I wanted to test out in this video is if you actually lose the drone over there and you lose it somewhere in the field, you don't see it because it's too far away from you, or you drive it 2 miles away and you lose it, there's a thing on the app that lets you actually track exactly where it is. So we're gonna lose this drone on purpose in the middle of the grass, and then we're gonna use my phone to actually go find it because the battery's about to run out, and see if it pinpoints us right where it's supposed to be. All right, guys, so we just put our drone down. It's somewhere, as you can tell, in the grass field in front of us, and you can see the video feed because it didn't lose all of its battery left, but usually that wouldn't be there and you wouldn't have any camera feed at all because your drone landed because they ran out of battery. So what you could do is there's this little map right here in the bottom left corner you can hit, and it will pull up this map here. If you click on this map again, you'll see Find My Drone. You click on Find Your Drone, it will actually pinpoint exactly where the drone is compared to your locations. You can see this is where I am, and the drone is right there, missing duration, 0 minutes, and you can even start flashing and beeping. So as we walk towards it now, I started flashing and beeping it. Like I said, because there's actually battery left, you can actually do the beeping and the flashing. Obviously, if the battery was dead, you couldn't do it, but you do have the exact location. So as you see me walking towards this, you can see that my circle moves in time with how I'm moving, and it's telling me exactly where it is. So let's go ahead and walk over there and see if it's exactly where the arrow says it is. All right, so we're getting really close to the arrow, as you can see now. We're almost right on top of it. You can hear the beeping sound if you pay attention to that noise. And here's the drone, right where I said the location was, making the beeping sound. So when it's lost, or when you had to put it down for an emergency landing because you're about to run out of battery. So easy to find as long as it had GPS, so cool. All right, guys, so that was the Mavic Mini. So you guys can see the impressive footage that I got there and some of the cool effects that you can do with this thing. So as somebody who's never had a drone before, I was really impressed with this thing for the price that I paid. This is only a $400 drone. You got to remember that this is a $400 drone compared to some of the drones out there that are over $1,000, you know, to start and go all the way up to God knows what, like $3,000 or $4,000 if you wanted to. And this thing, you know, was really impressive as far as the quality of the video, and as you can see in the video footage that I took there when I was doing the whole distance length and everything, how good the quality looked at 2.7, 30 frames a second. It looked really, really good. The drone obviously has those cool quick shots that you can do that you guys saw with the rocket shot that you can do, or the one that swirls around you and stuff like that. So a lot of unique features there. Easy way to find the drone if you ever lose it with that GPS signal that I showed you guys. So if you ever lose the drone anywhere, you know, you can pinpoint exactly where it is by using the iPhone app on your phone, and you can go ahead and plug that right in. The box says that it lasts 30 minutes. It's mostly going to be like 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes that the drone's going to last. Luckily, I do have a couple of batteries that I bought with it. The actual controller, if you're using an iOS device, lasts about 4.5 hours. If you're using Android, since it has to charge your phone at the same time, there's no other option. It only lasts an hour and a half. So there's that. As far as the distance goes, you know, I went 1,572 feet, as you guys saw there in the video, and I did start getting some interference. I never actually lost signal or anything, but I did get interference. Apparently, even though I didn't want to test it out on my first flight, if you actually continue to go forward and it does lose signal with the controller and you can't connect to it, what it should technically do automatically for you is just return to home wherever it was set to before. So you'll just see it come back and you'll see it regain signal, because after 10 seconds of it just losing signal, it starts turning around for you and goes right back to home. So theoretically, it shouldn't really get lost. The only thing you should actually have a problem with is if you accidentally hit something out there, because as you guys know, there's no sensors on this thing except for the bottom. So there's no active sensors on the top or anything. So if you run into something, it's all on your own. There's only sensors on the bottom for landing. And if there's flyaways, if you go out there and you're crazy, if you want to fly this thing, you know, with 25-mile-an-hour winds out there, and you go up there and it flies away on you, you know, you're taking that risk. This drone is definitely not meant to go anything above like 15 miles an hour gust at the most. From what I've tested and seen, it's about 15 miles an hour is where it wants you to be at. So as long as you follow those precautions, I mean, the thing is really easy to fly. You know, you even get a notification on your phone that if you start flying and you have 53% battery left and it knows that it took you 50% to get out there, it's going to warn you and say, hey, you should probably fly home now because you need that 50% to get back. So there's precautions and everything built into the app. As long as you're not one of those people who are going to actually ignore them and be like, no, I want to continue. You can, but you're risking that on your own. But as long as you follow the instructions on the app itself, it's pretty easy to maneuver and everything. It has some interesting features with those quick shots, some good video capture footage, and some good pictures that it took with it as well. So I'm really impressed with the quality of the video, the quality of the pictures that this thing took, the quality of how far I was able to get out on my first time, and I'll be looking forward to seeing if I could push it any further, in the future, of course. And, just the quality overall. Really easy to fly. As somebody who's never flown a drone before, like I said, it was really easy to get accustomed to, learn the controls and stuff. It's literally like using a video game controller. The left side of the stick is used for altering up and down, left and right. And then the other side is literally to go forward and backwards and stuff. So really easy to control, really easy to use. The iPhone app is good. The only missing feature that I wish that was on here that other drones have that I'm pretty sure they probably could put on here but are leaving out on purpose, just so they don't take it away from their other higher end drones, is like the follow feature, where you can point the drone at an object like you, and as you're moving, the drone will literally follow you. So that's a cool thing that I wish was one of the quick shot options and stuff. But who knows? Maybe we'll see that in the future as an app update. But overall, guys, this is a great drone if you've never flown a drone before. This is probably the first one I would recommend. If you're nervous about flying like I am and you've never used one before and you just want to get your feet wet, for $400, this one will do it for you, and it still has really good potential to fly out and go some far distances and stuff until you see what you think about it and if you like it. And then, of course, you could step up after that and, go for the more expensive over $1,000 drones if you really want to go get that 4K footage that this one obviously doesn't do 4K, and go even further distances than this one does with some of the other drones. But as you remember, these are small drones, so this one's under 250 grams. So if you live in the US and stuff, you don't even need to register this one with the FCC because it's sitting under 250 grams. So that's a cool bonus that obviously you will have to register with the bigger ones if you get one of those. Not a huge deal, but it's something you should be aware of. So guys, if you guys have any questions about anything I talked about here today, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie, gaming tech. Eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.